welcome to the show. Let's see. So, last night was a hot potato. Hot potato. Got into some pretty intense conversation about the ethno-state. So that was a very interesting hypothetical conversation. I invite controversial conversation. I do. I'm able to, conduct myself in a way that's professional and adult, mature. I realize that a lot of people can get real huffy about a variety of things, and that's part of the landscape out there. I get it, but I'm okay with it. Nobody's hurtling insults or doing any of that kind of silliness, so it's not like that. And I just try to make myself very, very clear in terms of what my positions are, why I think and believe and say the things I do. But at the same time, I'm able to, how do I say, like when I'm able to change when new data is presented. You know what I'm saying? So, you find out some new data and it changes the situation of whatever it is that you're talking about, and then you've got to accommodate, And what that is essentially just simply being an adult. It's the right thing to do intellectually. You know what I'm saying? If let's say science does a certain experiment on on toothpaste or something, and then one year something comes along that demonstrates like, oh well, you were wrong about that, then science doesn't continue to publish lies about that study or what have you. So it's not that difficult, frankly. It's really very much a matter of just people not being egocentrical cunts, basically. Yo, what's up? American Counter-Revolution 2025 is here, ladies and gentlemen. Get your hats on. It's time to go. Good to see you, man. Thanks for popping in. A little early this evening than my usual starting time. I find that these shows tend to go late-ish for me, on a work night, So I'm trying to get it started a little earlier. Not as early as I wanted, but oh well. What is new, Mr. Counter-Revolutionary? What is new in your world? Enlighten us. Give us the keys to the kingdom. Share with us your profound insights on life and death and everything in between. Actually, I have a big story to tell tonight, but I'm going to wait until all the kiddos are here and we'll gather around the fire, and then Uncle Donald is going to start story time. An interesting thing happened to me today, and just makes for an interesting story. So, what do you know? And then I can get your insights on what happened and all of that other stuff. Flash Gorgon is finally here. Dude, I missed you, man. I like it when you come to my shows. So, Flash, I posted something earlier in the group about a liberal woman, two liberal women, frankly, who are kind of attacking me for a post that I made And like I know these women IRL. Um, I'm like anxious to get into the story of it already, but I'm kind of sort of waiting for more people to show up. I think it's just more fun if everybody's here. You know, when I tell the story about what happened today. Um, some parts of it are like, you know, what else is new, but then other parts I feel are kind of like maybe learning lessons or like, you know, learning points or something. We can kind of step back and have a look at this scenario. What else? What else? American Counter Rev says nothing much, just reading and chilling. What are you reading? Flash says I always miss the show. Well, gosh darn it, you're not missing this one. I'm starting a little early. I don't know what time it is where you are. You seem to be up at all hours of the night or day or whenever. I don't know. But so last night was a big hot potato. We had a guy on who is a regular visitor on this show. It goes by Anti-Whiteism Ends With You. And he is a follower of Jason Kuna, No White Guilt. So he's got, that's his position on stuff. And so we started discussing the ethno state and, you know, what should it be. And I kept essentially kind of backing up and saying, okay, well, this is hypothetical. You know, I think that we have bigger, before we can get to talking about an ethno state, we've got first to have a lot of other work to do, namely to collectivize whites, you know. He had some very, very strong opinions, strong statements to make, and we had some disagreements. Nothing, you know, earth shattering or whatever. But I would say that the show is one of those shows that I don't know how to say it. Like it's a show that is noteworthy. Let's put it that way, because there's some pretty intense conversation in there. Moving on. So it's nighttime here. Yes. Okay. American Rev is reading Louis L'Amour's memoir. He was a writer of mostly westerns. Oh, that's cool. How interesting. That reminds me of a show that I did with Jeff Winston, the creator of the White Art Collective. I used to do a show called Afternoon at the Museum, and I would have people from our culture on to visit museums. Can you guys hear me okay? I hope you can. Like I would go to the websites of various world-class museums, and you know, we'd look at the artwork and just talk about it. You know, we're virtually walking around a gallery, think, or a museum. Think of it that way. And so Jeff, what I had for Jeff is Western painting. So painting that is all on the theme of the Wild West, cowboys, uh, you know, uh, the Great Push West, you know, all that whole period in American history. And Jeff had lots of wonderful things to say about it. He's a Midwesterner himself, or was, and he just had some really beautiful insights and stories to share about that. And I think it really made for a fantastic show. So even though I'm just a big nobody out here in YouTube internet land, although I did actually have one of my videos taken down just today by YouTube, I still have lots of good content on this channel. So if people ever want to just peruse my channel, cruise and peruse, you know, look around and see what other videos I have. There's just it's a gold mine. There's lots of great stuff, lots of good culture in here. I don't know who all is enjoying it, but it's there for you for the taking. Put it that way. Anyway, what video did YouTube take down? Well, shocker. Um, so, excuse me, you know what shorts are? YouTube shorts? They're just like little 30-second clips. They're kind of like reels on say like I think reels are for Instagram. Anyway, I just made a bunch of cool shorts to essentially market this channel. And so I did that, and one of the shorts was a cover of a DC comic from the 1970s called what's it called? The Forgotten Soldier? No, The Unknown Soldier. Pardon me. So, The Unknown Soldier is a really well-known DC war comic from like World War II. And, excuse me, on the cover of the comic, it's the unknown soldier fighting a Nazi general, and they're on top of the front of a moving locomotive. So that's, classic, you know, classic comic book cover of like some kind of exciting, crazy situation that, oh my God, look at the action and adventure that awaits in the pages before you. Buy this book now. That's it's marketing. Well, me being me, I love this cover because it just has a really cool picture of a Nazi on it. And so I make like a cool video with cool fast wave music, and it's been up there for a long time. And all it is really just a way to advertise this channel as like a place where you can see comics. Not a big whoop. Well, I got a notification today that your post goes against our rules on hate speech. And I'm like, if it's hate speech then why do I love it doing it so much? Okay, sorry. I didn't deliver that joke very smoothly, but so there you go. They took it down, and they're like, do you want to appeal this? Nah. I'm kind of like, yeah, I could. Do I really want to? It's like, am I just going to draw more attention to myself if I do that? So I just sort of let it go. It's not a big whoop, really. I really should be putting more shorts up there. By the way, is the music too loud? Seems like I sound like I'm yelling over the music. Let's see. Flash Gorgon says afternoon at the museum is a great concept for a show. Yeah, I probably should bring it back. Maybe I'll get like Joel Davis on there, or Vladimir Putin. Maybe I can get Steve Bannon. Stevie! I'll give him a free haircut if he comes on the show. I'm going to turn the music down. I'll be right back. Hang on. Got some fun jazz, like wow. So the reason I'm playing jazz is because there's no freaking commercials, because I hate stopping. You know me, I'm like, I'm the antichrist of commercials. I hate commercials. So, should I tell my story? Should I just get into the story? Hell, I got 6 people listening and 2 people in the chat, so at least I got some people. I don't know who the lurkers are. FBI, please raise your hand if you're here. Just give me a little wave icon emoji, little happy face emoji in the chat, just so we know, you're here and we want to welcome you. Hope you had a good day today. So story time. You ready, kids? Okay, here we go. So let's back up a bit, all right? Okay. So a couple years ago, I meet this super cool dude out on the house music dance scene. And I'm when I dance, I sometimes kind of incorporate kung fu moves into my style, and it just looks neat to the sort of average Joe or whatever. But another martial artist would be able to look at it and be like, "Whoa, that dude knows some freaking skills," you know. So this guy literally did that. He came up to me and he was like, you know, you definitely know kung fu. And as soon as he said that, I was like instant friends, you know, like straight away. I'm like, oh, this guy's cool. And he's got a really cool vibe. Like he's just very high energy. He's just like me on the dance floor. Like he doesn't give a shit. He just goes nuts. He has a good time. He lets it all loose, and it's just high energy. We just love the music, you know. So, like, we were like instant friends, instant buddies, you know. Even though, if you're to look at him, he's very clearly a liberal, you know, like a has the whole woke style thing, you know. Um, and I'm like, I'm not gonna bother with that. I'm not gonna like fuss or whatever. I'm out doing my thing, having a good time, and whatever. You know, if he's cool, he's cool. So we're having a blast, and this and that, and we get to talking this and that, and I tell him about sparring, and next thing you know, him and I are like regular sparring partners at the local park, you know, in the city. And the cool thing about this park is they have like outdoor concerts and DJs, and you know, it's kind of like a hippie-ish sort of affair, you know, with people doing like fire dancing and hula hoops and colorful this and that, and there's food trucks, and it's just like a big fair of some kind. Just really fun. It's just a nice summertime outdoorsy kind of funsy thing. So anyway, we've been doing that for a year or so, and then one year he introduces me to his new girlfriend, and oh, okay, that's fine, and good for you, something. But I do notice a really distinct change in his behavior around her. And I also notice that she's kind of like passive aggressively abusive to him. And he sort of makes jokes about it like it's funny or something when it's really not. Have you ever have that kind of situation where like a guy who knows he's in an abusive relationship but can't say it because he's too cucked or something? And have you ever I mean, I don't know if you ever had that kind of experience. So I'm like, yeah, and it's not my, I don't like this, but it's not my business. And I mean, the dude's a freaking woke liberal. What do you expect? Like, it's just, it's a thing. It is what it is. And you kind of have to just, try to just enjoy your friendship and leave it alone. So that goes on for another year or so. And then now, and of course, I've met her and talked and see her clubs and stuff, but we don't really know each other. We're just sort of acquaintances. We're kind of like party people. We see each other out at blah blah blah. No, nothing really heavy, or legit or serious or normal or whatever you want to call it. So anyway, Violence is Life. Great to have you here, man. I'm so glad you came. I'm in the middle of a story, something that happened today. Um, and they have a mutual friend who, this girl, of course, I'm not going to say any names or anything like that, but she's really more, well, they're all out there. I'll just put it this way: like she's like a school. She works in an elementary school, but she posts like nude pictures of herself on Instagram. Yeah, like that's the situation that we're talking about. I'm gonna move to a different page here. Which one? I think I'll do this one. And I just try to be nice to everybody. I try to be sweet and nice, and like whatever, you do you, I'll do me, and whatever. So I'm polite. I'm polite to her and this and that. So that's all fine and well. And we've had a little corresponding here and there. And then today I wake up and I get this message from her with a screenshot of a comment that I made on somebody's video on Instagram. And the comment was something to the effect of like, why do white liberal women attack the men that create their own civilization? Um, you're going to end up sex slaves if you keep doing this or something. And I noticed from the clip that it had something to do with the UK. And she didn't copy the clip to me so I could actually see it. I just knew that it was like some woman bitching about white men. Meanwhile, rape gangs are like going ballistic in the UK. And so I just assumed that that was what the video was about. And again, like you're saying like, oh, you said this racist shit or what, blah blah blah. Don't ever talk to me again, kind of thing. And I'm like, this was going to happen sooner or later. It's not like it's not a big shock. I'm not devastated. There's no loss. But the worst case scenario is that these women are going to push my friend away from me. You know what I'm saying? That my sparring buddy. Um, like 100%. Like he's just he's too cocked. He's too liberal. He would never. I just can't see that he would stand up to them. Anyway, so I forget. I don't remember what I responded. I might have said something to her. Maybe I didn't. I don't remember. I think I saw it like just before I had to head out to work, and I'm like, oh, blah, whatever, blah. But here's the problem. Then soon after, I get a text from my friend's girlfriend, who's friends with the other girl that like blocked me because of my comment. And now she's like, oh, and the language she was using was very much like in the frame of like, I'm the boss and you owe me an answer, kind of. Like I am the matriarch and you must explain yourself. Something to that, like that was the tone of it. And I don't belong to their culture. I'm not a liberal. I'm not part of their faggot culture. So I'm like, okay, let's let this one sit for a bit, think it through, like, and just say the fucking truth of it. And so I did. I kind of made some statements about, I'm concerned with, like, how do I say, like, white women that live in America have the most freedom and power of all women in the world. So if they're going to shit on white men and enable Islam in our own countries, that's insane. That's backwards. And that was what my comment was about, as far as I could recall. Um, I'm totally paraphrasing, by the way. Like what I said was like very well thought out and very eloquent in the way that I said it. But that's kind of the nuts and bolts of it. So I move on with my day. I finish my job. I took my son out to dinner. We had a good time. Life moves on. And then I get a reply back, and everything that she says in there makes no sense at all. I mean, and I knew that's what was going to happen. I knew she was just going to have like an emotional meltdown and be totally illogical, because that's how they operate, right? Like, starters, I don't honestly even think they're intellectually capable of making sense. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know that's harsh, and I'm not even exaggerating. And like, I even sent her like a link to an article from like whitepapers.com about like statistics of Muslims in the UK and stuff. to back up my position, you know. Hello to Splattercat. Hello to Hippocratic Oath. Hippocratic Oath, you would know. This story I'm telling is based on the post that I made this morning in our group. So, yeah, I mean, like I could read it to you or whatever, but it's cringe. It's very like, oh, did you think you were being cute? That kind of like, you know, liberal bitch type bullshit. And she was just sort of like, you know, you'd better step back. You'd better watch your step. Talking about politics and blah 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 blah. And it's just a very weird, inappropriate kind of reaction, you know. But again, not unexpected. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of give it a while. You know, I have my dinner with my son. I'm not gonna let this interrupt my father son time. And you know, we have a great time together. This and that. Take him to his mom's and blah blah blah. And I'm just kind of sitting in the car thinking, how do I want to respond? And I go through the different options, and I start off by thinking, what is there to lose here? Like, what's at stake? And other than my friendship with her boyfriend, nothing. You know, I don't owe her anything. I don't care. We, you know, live in the same city and we both hang out on the same music scene. So here's the deal is that if she's uncomfortable with me being present at some club or something, then she's got to fucking leave. Because I'm not fucking leaving. You know, so she fucked herself by making enemies with me. Do you get my point? You know, so I'm not going anywhere. You know, I'm not apologizing. You see what I'm saying? So she doesn't quite get it. She doesn't know who. It's like one of those like, I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me. You know, that kind of one of those moments. You know. So, but then I think, you know what? I'm going to be a gentleman about it. I do care about my friendship with her boyfriend, and I would like to maintain that friendship. Maybe do some sparring, but like he's a good dude. We have a lot of fun dancing, and he's intelligent guy, creative guy. You know, I would like to maintain my friendship with him. So I wrote back, you know, calmly with a kind of like, I'm sorry that you feel that way. And then I try to be logical, you know, which women like this hate. They can't stand this. I'm not saying all women hate it, but these type of liberal, manipulative, narcissistic sociopaths don't like logic, you know. And I basically said, you know, I think you've misread me. I think you misread me because, and then I go on to give more reasoning and more logic and more facts. And I'm like, you know, I like for starters, I don't know, like I didn't see the video. You just like I was just shown a screenshot and told like, oh, you said that women are going to become sex slaves. And I'm like, you're not even like you don't even know. I don't know what the context is here. I think what I was referring to was protesting against the Islamic replacement of whites in the UK, and you know, and then I went on to describe, you know, like the groom gangs and rape statistics and clitorectomies and grooming gangs and blah 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 blah, all this fucking horrible shit. And it's like, you know, I say these things because I care. You know, it's not because I'm trying to offend somebody. And then like I don't understand like why are feminists not out front on this topic? Like you're the ones that, you know, if you know, if our country gets overwhelmed by Muslims, which there'll be a war before that happens, then you're the ones that are going to be enslaved, you know. And so like I'm protecting you, I'm looking out for you, I'm defending you by saying such things, you know. So whatever, I just was like, you know, I kind of made my statement, and then at the end of it I was like, you know, if you would like more data, because I only base my political views on provable data. And if you would like more, I'll send that to you. And that's really me being a snarky asshole because I know she's not gonna fucking do that, right? Dumb bitch. Um, in the guise of being polite and you know how it is. So anyway, and then I said, but otherwise, I respect your feelings and your feelings of your friend, and I'm sorry if I caused you any anxiety, and sayonara. So that was the end of that. So, you know, if anything good comes of this or whatever, which I don't see that it could, honestly, but like I'll see how it goes. Like there was another liberal girl out on the dance scene that didn't like something that somebody posted on my Instagram, and she turned it into like her mission to make everybody hate me, you know. And I'm not that guy. Like I'm a cool guy. Everybody loves me. So, she failed at that attempt, and then she was stuck with me because it's this kind of like, if I can turn everybody against you, then you'll feel uncomfortable and you won't come out to the scene anymore. Like I can make you go away. And I was like, you don't know who you're dealing with, like I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me. That whole Rorschach thing. So now she's kind of coming around and she realizes that she's, you know, like she's just smiling. It's just like sniveling little shit, but whatever. This is what it is. I shall read some comments now. Da 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 dum. What awaits me within this long frame of comments from these marvelous people across the internets? All right, so we got. Hold on here. What's going on? There we go. Oh no, new girlfriend. Not my girlfriend. Yeah, totally. Violence says screenshot of a comment made on some random video. Right. Oh dear. Yeah, she's gonna panty whip him exactly. Oh no, she's a commissar. Right, I know. Welcome to Splatter Cat. Oh, we're back into the heavy stuff. Kind of not like last night's heavy stuff. Scroger's here. Women are default Gollum. Yeah, there's. I don't. I mean, I know some really, really, really great right wing women, so I don't. Based on them. I mean, they're kind of unicorns, I guess. You know what I'm saying, in the sense of like it's very rare, I guess, to find women like that. But they are fabulous women. They're like extraordinary. Like I'd marry every one of them if I could. You know. But overall, yeah, we have a big problem. Moving on. Scroger says I spelled it normally, but my comment got auto deleted. Violence is life says yeah, she has no room to talk. So this is the thing. It's just like, I'm just gonna browbeat you. I'm gonna intimidate you. I'm not gonna respond at all to anything logical that you just said. And then I'm gonna kind of bully you and push you around. That's like her methodology. Typical liberal. I mean, this is the normal. This is fucking liberalism 101. It's normal bullshit for them. But again, she doesn't realize like I don't fucking play. I don't fucking homie don't play that bitch. So, but like I'm able to kill with kindness though. You know what I mean? So that in the end, she's wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's a bit of a mind fuck, but like it's kind of fun. Oh shit, I can't believe I just said that. Oh shit, I just said that. Oh my god. No, here's the deal. When or if the boyfriend, who's my friend, sees my answers to her, which I would imagine that she's going to show him, he knows me. He knows me, and he's a dude. And he'll read my comments and then he'll be like, Donald is totally on point. He's being a gentleman. He's not being insulting, and you wouldn't tolerate it if somebody was insulting your girlfriend, that whatever the situation is. So um, I just, in a sense, what I wrote was almost for him, to see like, look, I'm a straight shooter, dude. Like I'm doing the right thing, and like I'm not gonna cock to this. I'm not gonna bend a knee to this bullshit. Anyway, and ironically, I'm inking a knee. How about that? Moving on. Hippocratic Oath says it's haram for her to speak without her husband. Ha! Violence is life's cack. I get logic. Um, so let me do a quick aside here. So here I'm pointing out. I'm saying like the topic that we're discussing here is that you know liberal white women are enabling Islam in the West, and that's suicide. And I'm calling it out. Okay. And she's like, oh well, you're conflating issues. You're conflating things, that meaning like don't they're not all bad. It's that kind of bullshit. It's that kind of like false logical argument. And and like we can't lose our humanity. We can't overgeneralize these groups, and otherwise we're losing our humanity. This is literally what she said. Now here I'm like, humanity is on the fucking chopping block right now because of these exact people. But whatever. So point I'm trying to make here is that I think liberal women's defense of people of color, Islam, on the basis of this like they're not all whatever, of just like feminism or liberalism or whatever, is totally about hatred of white men. It's 1,000% about destroying the so-called patriarchy. And whether they even know that or not, it's just evident in the things that they say. It's like, no, I'm going to illogically defend a culture, religion, ideology that would fucking enslave me rather than stand with white men. What? Like this, the sociopathy of that is dark. That's some dark ass shit, dude. What the fuck is wrong with them? God damn, man, that's fucking horrible. That is horrible, dude. That's horrible. It's like Munchausen syndrome or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? That's some dark ass shit. And I don't know. Is part of it just like is it a power play? Is that what this is? It's just like oh, I'm gonna emasculate you. I'm gonna boss you around. I wear the pants. Is that what this is? Is it a little game to you? Is it a fucking game to you? I mean, like, tell that to the families of all the girls that have been raped in the UK or all over Europe or anywhere, by these fucking Muslim bastards, these dogs. So it's some trippy shit. It's some very trippy shit. Anyway, Violence says, I understand all these stats and per capita, yeah. Welcome to the clownscape. You said it, brother. Violence says, I haven't had to talk to a liberal for a very long time. They're weird. They're really, really weird. They're very alienated now. They don't know. I mean, the girl who originally sort of attacked me on this, who blocked me, on another occasion, she came to me and she was like, I'm scared about, Trump being in office, and can you explain to me what's going on? And I thought like that was a really genuine thing to do, because she knew I would know. And I kind of, I chatted with her and kind of gave her the lowdown and stuff. And I'm like, it's, like blah, 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 this and that and the other thing. So what else? Reading more. Scroger says, drawing super chud. Yes, sir, Bob. Violence says her tactics are abuse. They literally are. They fucking are, dude. The thing is, she doesn't know the hell that I've lived through in my life. She has no idea the fucking abuse that I've survived in my time. I know, I know all the tricks. I know all the tricks. I'm not afraid. I've been abused long enough to know how to fight back, I guess. I mean, I'm not, in a sense, I'm fighting in a kind of a very Tai Chi sort of way by like gently pushing her into the wall, so to speak, like gently smashing her ego into the ground, by saying like, I can show you the data that proves my point. Otherwise, I'm sorry for offending you and have a nice day. See how I framed that? It's like if you choose not to see the fucking truth, you dumb bitch, then, I'm going to be a gentleman. I'm going to be above you and just say, like, I'm sorry for causing you any anxiety and good luck. You know what I'm saying? So, because in a sense, that's kind of all they want is like, they want you to fucking bow. That's all they want, It's sickening. I hate them, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't, and it doesn't really even matter if it's male or female. Like, there's men that are sociopathic in this way, and they just want you to bow, and I'm like, you can go fuck yourself, I don't deal with that shit, in any time or place, you know. Let's move on. Reading. Absolutely. If you never get angry, she will get very frustrated. Well, that was 1,000% it. Yeah, that was actually really beautifully said. Truth is our realities here. Hello, welcome back, Truth. Violence is life, says clap back with bot. All white men are bad, and she'll do the NPC error meme. Robert Pyle is here. Welcome, Robert. And Splatter Cat. Hippocratic Oath says women speak feelings and consensus, not data and logic. You nailed it. Like there's nothing. Truer words were not spoken. If you find it worthwhile to debate a woman, then you need to go total right side brain. So that was part of my strategy, is to kind of say like, you misread me, because like I did these things and these things were compassionate towards women. And why aren't feminists like out here doing the same thing? I'm standing with you on this cause, so there's like some feeling in there, you know what I'm trying to say. And then in the end, by saying like, I'm sorry if I caused you some anxiety about this. So I didn't say I'm sorry I'm wrong. I didn't say that. But I'm sorry if if I caused you anxiety, which is just a type of a kind of a tipping the hat type of a gesture. I don't know. I expect her to just not know how to respond and just like stop the communication with me. But next time, in fact, this Saturday, there's a very, 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 very major event in town. It's just a huge, huge, huge event. And anyway, long story short, I know that my buddy's gonna be there, which means his girlfriend's gonna be there. And guess what? I'm gonna be there too. So should I wear my Rorschach mask? Oh, that'd be fun. That'd be really fun. I would love to do that. No, I mean I'm not really a troller, I don't really, really do that. I just don't. It's just kind of not me. But like at the same time, I just don't take any shit. I just I can't. I can't. I've taken so much shit from so many weirdos over so much time that it's like I'm full. You know what I mean? Like you know the hard drive is full. You know what I'm saying? So that's the end. What's fucked up is these narcissistic weirdos. They think they can just keep coming back. That's what makes them narcissists. Is they just think like, oh, I can. Oh, hey, finally we're back. Hey, I hope to see you soon. What? Did you just forget like how you shit on me for so long and like manipulated me and abused my trust and like insulted me in public and like and now I'm supposed to just like forget all that happened? Like, I think I'm fucking retarded. The level of ego and megalomania in there is quite disgusting. Moving on. Robert says, I just got here, but I want to say that I'm working on a drawing right now. Cool. I'm going to post it on Odyssey this Thursday. Good stuff. Violence says, yep, it's a game to her. Pyle says, I'm doing coloring contest for 420. Oh, 420 is coming up. Yeah, yeah. I'm going to show off everyone's work on my stream that day. That sounds cool. Robert, how many subscribers do you have to your Odyssey? Like, what's your usual, number of visitors? Pyle says this year's Uncle A's birthday lands on Easter Day. Whoa. Whoa, we need a meme campaign for that. Holy cow. That's massive. That reminds me actually, I just got finished saying that I don't do trolls, but I came up with this idea for like an epic troll. I'll just pop in here and maybe I just finish the other conversation, but I just saw some posts, and I shared it around about what was it? Well, I'll just tell you the troll. So, like, the troll would be something like, not one Jew has ever thanked me for stopping, the Holocaust. Not one black person has thanked me for having the Civil War and stopping slavery. We need to have a day thank a white man day, where Jews can come up to white people and say thank you for stopping the Holocaust and World War II, and maybe donate some money to a cause that helps white families, poor white people or something, or even white artists maybe, and donate some money and show your appreciation, right? Because we fought a war for you and we saved you from the evil Nazis, so we should be getting some kind of respect and thanks for that, at least like a one day a year that could be thank a white man day. What do you guys say? What do you say? What do you say? So let's get behind that. I think that's a fabulous idea. Then we can start like, like nonprofit 501(c)s and start getting like government funding and stuff. We'll take a note from like the Democrats and how they do it. Like they figured that out pretty well. So see how they do it, what their methods are. Oh, Mr. Sarcasm. Yeah, I'm a little on the edgy side, I guess. Yeah, it's just it's really sad because like I know I'm basically gonna lose this friend. It's just that's how they are. They're like, oh, I can't hurt you. Okay, well I'll hurt this other person, and I'll hurt you vicariously through this other person. That's your friend. It's like, but I'm so evolved. I'm so spiritual. I'm a vegan. Oh my God, I'm so spiritual. Fuck you. Yeah. So I haven't had to deal with that kind of shit in years. Like it's just not a thing that I've had to encounter. Which has been nice. Oh, shit, I lost my page. Anyway, let's get back to work here. Laura Loves Lettering is here. Hey, Laura. Do you, what kind of lettering do you do? Because I'm looking for a comic book letterer. Do you do comic book lettering? Yeah, that would be a discussion right there. Let's zoom out a little bit. This is a bit much here. Hold on. There we go. And we'll just move on to another part of the show. Oh, gosh. Yeah, so this woman here with the baby is actually Where is she? She's one of the superheroes in Fash Force. Where is she? Let me see if I can find. I don't have an image of her readily available. Let's see if I can find one. Hang on, hang on. Come on. There she is. So, she is a Nordic pagan sorceress, I guess. You could say that's kind of her. She has these kind of these symbols, by the way, are like banned on the ADL, just for your information, just to make her cooler. But she's one of the superheroes in the story, but she's also a mother, and so this is kind of like a different side of her in the story, you know. Let's read some chat here. Hold on a sec. Strauger says, I've lost a bunch of friends since being based. Even one of about 25 years long. I know, me too. I've got some sad stories about that. Robert says, are some people shadow banned by YouTube in the comments or something? I don't think so. I didn't shadow ban anybody. Why? Is there somebody saying something that I can't see? I've lost friends also. We all have. Robert Powell says, because Donald is responding to people that I can't see in the chat. Ooh, that's weird. I can't tell you why, buddy. I don't know why. Truth is our reality says you have to choose selective words when commenting. I see. Violence is life. I read certain books in 2012 and can't unsee. Truth says there are many workarounds. Oh, I think you're referring to, like, you know, having whatever it is that you say show on the chat. Like, if you misspell something or use a code word for something, then apparently it'll show in the chat, I guess. That's what I'm understanding. There you go, and now you know. Woohoo! So yeah, you know, like when I go to this event this weekend, I'm really there's like a million other people there that I know, so it's not like I'm just like alone in a room with this girl or something. Yeah, you know. So we'll see how it goes. You know, I'm not concerned so much. I'm really hoping that I can connect with my buddy though, and just be like, hey man, I tried. You know, like I tried. I was respectful. I tried to say what I could. You know, but like it is what it is, sort of thing. You know. Let's see more comments here. Are you using live chat or top chat? Are you asking me? I'm just streaming, and then there's a chat in the stream, so I don't have a chat setting, if that's what you're saying. Scroger says I'm shadow banned on any account I use. I've even had basic general video and music playlists removed and strike for hate speech. Damn, dude, that's fucking insane. That's terrible, bro. That's not fucking cool. Right? Shit is just so wacky out there, man. Hippocratic Oath says if you want to see all chat, switch to live chat. So punished for creating playlists of videos that aren't mine and stress hosted by YouTube themselves. Yeah, isn't this stupid? YouTube makes, I know. I still think that they just have like blue-haired weirdos sitting around, you know, just trolling the whole YouTube looking for shit to ban. You know what I mean? Just, you know what I mean, right? I mean, these people get paid to do that kind of shit, you know? And they get to feel so powerful. I shadow banned a Nazi. I'm so strong. Anyway, moving on. Onward and upward. Excelsior. Um, that's like getting kicked from the store for using their shopping carts. Exactly. Wow. My art channel got yeeted today, and I have no idea why. Dude, why? What the hell? The whole channel? Oh, that's troublesome. I'm not pleased with that. Mucho not goodo. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Violet says it logged out of the account on my phone and I forgot the PW and still mystery why. Don't know what to tell you. The PW. We will all end up on TikTok, China #1. China #1. You're like a general to chicken is very cool. You speak Chinese very good. Yes. That's interesting. I've been actually thinking of getting back into studying Chinese. You guys are like, Don, try one project at a time, please. Every time I'm out at like a Chinese restaurant and I speak some Chinese, the waitress is always like, oh, I teach you. You come my house, I teach you Chinese. Cook you a nice meal. So very good. I'm like, I don't know. So if China ever invades America, then I'll be like a translator or something. I'll be the guy in the death camp that like No, I don't want to talk like that. That's terrible. Not funny. The way things are going with all the other platforms, I wouldn't doubt it. I will post on Gab and BitChute and Odyssey before I ever make it to TikTok or Instagram. Yeah, what are you gonna do? I think I mentioned the other day that like I looked up how to monetize my work on what do you call it on TikTok. So I did come up with some sort of a strategy. Basically, TikTok and YouTube should funnel subscribers to my Substack, and then use the Substack for like charge content. Charge people for subscription. That is the strategy. Um, I love the Substack, and I need to post something this month. Yeah, I've been remiss. I need to get back into getting serious about that. I've been dropping the ball. It's like kind of in a really difficult loop right now where I don't know, I got too much on my plate and not getting things done as I want. So that's my big story for today. I don't know. I hope that I can still keep my friendship. I have sometimes when you get in that kind of trouble, the friend will just kind of like maintain, you know, some form of contact with you, but it has to be secret. You know, you know what I mean, right? It's like, okay, I can't let her know. You know, I'm still friends with you. Anyway, there it is, and there. But I have to say, I'm surprised that this didn't happen sooner. You know, I really knew that this was going to come one day. I just knew it. I was like, okay, this isn't going to last forever. And like, I don't hide what I post and shit. I don't, you know, I am who I am, you know. But whatever, you know. There you go. Now you know. Oh, what else? Oh no. Let's see. Chad, yes. What I missed something here. Oriana needs to go independent so we can move all our base social media companies there. Oh my God, what a great idea. Ooh, holy crap, dude. That is freaking genius, bro. Oh my God, you are onto something, my man. Oh my God, that is a brilliant idea. Robert says, I got demonetized on Odyssey though because some Rican Jew and his followers pretending to be national socialists reported me. So I've noticed that's a thing. You know, it's a type of a thing. You know, like whenever I get like a random sort of friend request or something, and they, you know, they kind of say like, "Oh, I'm really into this" or something, right? You know, no, you're not. You know, like it's a trap. They want to get into your shit and fuck it up. You know, so I don't know. It's these people are they're really 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 fucked up. They just love to hurt us. You know, they get like a lot of thrill out of that. You know. So, for example, those two women that I was telling you about with that debacle that happened today, I would imagine that they've spent almost all day texting each other about what a bad person I am. You know? So it's like what they do is they corner themselves. They paint themselves into a corner where we've both said so much bad stuff about this guy that we can't back out now. You know, even though I might have said something that was correct or good or this or that or whatever somehow or other. But nope, too late. You know, we already we you know we've made it like religion that he's bad because we agree upon it, and it's all about the consent of the group. You know, like if you're not part of the consent, then you're out. You're evil. You're bad. You're losing your humanity. You know, losing our humanity. Right. But Hippocratic Oath put it very well. Like there is no reasoning with these people. There is no reasoning with them. You know. Um, cannot be done. Society is a game. It's a tarp. Uh, yeah, I see no problem with pointing out what will happen in UK if things don't get fixed. Yeah, that's part of what I was saying to her too. Is like this is well known. Like these aren't. I'm not coming up with wacky conspiracy theories. These things are very well known. You know, like it. You know, I mean, like, oh, you're conflating things. It. Uh, again, I got it. I don't. I. There's no reason. There's no point. There's no. There's nothing there. You know. As Richard Spencer would say, there's no there there. There's no there there. What a great term. There's no there there. I miss the old Richard. I really do. You know, the pro-white Richard who would get up on stage in college and just be like, you know, white people are great. And everyone, fuck off, freak out. You know, it was pretty, and it was really an amazing time because it was like, holy shit, like nobody ever stands up for or recognizes white people, and like this guy's out here kicking ass. You know, it was exciting for the time that it lasted. You know. Hmm. Let's see if we got some comments. Violence says, "How do they fall for weak nonsense arguments just because they come from NPR?" I mean, again, I don't know of any better explanation for liberalism than conformity and consent. It's just it is a cult. It's just a cult. You know, there's nothing more you can say about it. You know, granted, we know who feed them the lies. You know, they think they know the truth. Um, when you show them the truth, instead of saying, "Oh shit, you showed me the truth," well, thank you. Instead, it's you're not part of my tribe, and therefore I hate you and you're evil, and I'm gonna unperson you. You're not a person anymore. It's like how that. Yet they're the spiritual ones, right. So spiritual, so spiritual, so spiritual. The divine feminine, so spiritual, so spiritual. Pyle says I have a buy me a coffee though, but people don't donate to that as much as they did to the monetization through Odyssey. They're fucks, man. These people are fucks. I'm really sorry that they did that to you. I'm gonna call Batman. I'll have him hunt them down, and it's not gonna be pretty. I'm Batman. I'm Batman. I like saying that. It just feels good. I'm Batman. Do-do-do-do-do. What do you got? Do some nice architecture. Every once in a while, I go in there and I flex my architecture muscle, just to make it look good. Robert Pyle says, "Yeah, maybe Batman can solve this. I wish somebody would." Fuckers. Who was it? Yeah, there was somebody in the White Art Collective recently said that, with like, what's his face? What's his fucking face? Doge, Musk. With Musk coming out against the people that are burning the Teslas, that, based on this so-called terrorism, if he could, go after the people that have doxed us for years and, give them the treatment, you know what I'm saying? Dox them, or, punish them for domestic terrorism. I think you guys know what I'm saying. I should maybe pull back a little bit. Yep, sorry, Robert, friend. I wish we could strike back. But if you do, then you're the bad guy. Thank God we've got the FBI to protect us. Doing their job out there, getting rid of these Marxist scumbags. Thank God we got the FBI to look out for us, man. And the CIA and all those guys, Where would we be without them? Okay. What is the name of your violence? Well, I kind of did. Someone put out a docs video about that guy and shared it around. All right. Well, there you go. There you go. And now you know. this. Moving right along. So I guess I lost a friend today then, you know, because they're gonna make sure that like they're gonna come down on him. The fucked up thing is they'll say like, oh, Donald said this and that. He did? Really? Oh my God. Show me the post. And then they'll selectively not show him things that I said to defend myself. In fact, I even said, without actually seeing the video, how can I defend myself? I can't defend myself. You're making these claims about me, and you know what the video is, and you won't show it to me, and yet I'm supposed to defend myself? So this is just classic, like, making it unfair, making it unfair. And I pointed that out, but of course that's not going to mean shit. It's just all about bow down. Well, what are you going to do? I have a feeling that my buddy will, next time he sees me, he'll be like, yeah, don't worry about it. No, I mean, if he's not around her, that is. But that's the problem, is he always is. He's like, he's elected to like be her puppy, basically. I can remember one time we were out at a club together, and we're like sitting outside on a porch, and we just sort of start talking. And I'm me. I'm very masculine. I'm unapologetically masculine. And I don't remember what I said, but I said something that was just very me in that regard. And she just turned to him and said, I'm uncomfortable. I'm going home. And he was like super upset about it. He was like, like, we just got here. Like, this is the big event for the weekend, and everybody's here, and it's going to be a great night. And we just dropped mushrooms, and now you like he tried so hard to talk her out of it. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna walk away from this situation because I know what's going on. And it was literally a shit test. It was just her shit testing him, like, oh, I see that you're having fun with your friends, so no, I can't allow that to happen. I have to fuck it up. You know what I mean? If you're in the know, you can see this shit a mile away. You know what I'm saying? And here we are, him and I are having a great time, and then she's like, oh, I'm uncomfortable. I'm going home. Bye. And, he should have said bye. See you later, like, but that's not how it works. So I guess I'm a bad man for saying that, apparently. Bad. Bad to the bone. Maybe you can find it again, the video where you left the post, and it was probably about something bad happened in UK. Yeah, I only know that because like the chat underneath the video had people talking about UK, and I couldn't 100% get the meaning from the chat. But I'm like, if it's about UK and I wrote what I wrote, logic dictates that I'm protesting against these liberal women who are like, oh, Muslims are wonderful and we should invite them all to flood our countries and blah blah blah, the usual horseshit. And I'm like, you fucking retards, like you're don't you understand what you're doing. And I guess this other girl just happened to find, like, just came across it somehow, and they're like, oh, I'm gonna screenshot that. I'm screenshotting that because I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. Gonna make it so that nobody likes you. Nobody's gonna be your friend anymore, and you're all alone. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Anyway, that's the end of that. So fuck it. Fuck it. I'll be okay, guys. Don't worry about me. Forget about it. What's fucked up is that I put a lot of super based, like right wing shit on my Instagram. I'm like, have you not fucking seen the shit that I post on Instagram? Like, this is you know who I am. You know what I do. Like, why is it that suddenly now that's a problem? It's just fucking stupid. And the girl who started all this, like, I know that she's attracted to me. Like, she's come on to me a bunch of times, and I'm nice to her. I don't find her attractive, but like, I'm just nice to her. You know what I mean? And then now this, whatever. I mean, I'm just pointing that out because sometimes, like, a woman scorned kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's what it is. Maybe not. Probably not. I don't know. Let's have a look here. Hail Donald. Oh my God, Ulfric is here, ladies and gentlemen, the greatest pagan of all time. Ulfric, Durin's son. If you guys could see this guy's beard, oh, Beardmaster 3000. I'm talking holy shit. I'm talking Moses coming down from Mount fucking Sinai. Bro, that is the shit right there. This guy has got the best beard. Hands down. Woo! Anyway, so it's good to have you here, big friend. You just missed like a phenomenal story that took me like an hour to tell. And now I'm exhausted. Let's read some comments. I don't think I'm losing friends. I'm having fun finding my tribe. I feel like I was in a fake dream dream world until the coof hit. Interesting. Maybe you can find it again. Oh, da, da, da. I'm gonna head on out. All right, Mr. Pyle, you're probably gone, but see you later. They have all been tricked into being the ones who opened the gates of Troy to the wooden horse. Yeah, dude, like, fuck, man, I just can't, I just can't. So I won't. What are you gonna do? There it is, and there it was, and never shall be. This isn't working out as it was supposed to. I guess that'll be okay-ish. You know what, Ulfric? There's chickens in this picture. I don't know if you can see them, but they're kind of in the background a little bit because it's on a farm. It's the old man's farm. You probably remember from the beginning of the story. So, so it'd be funny to have like a chicken or some chickens in the scene, Free range, naturally. There you go. How are we doing on time? It is a bit after 10. Let's see if we got any comments. Alcoholic is here, my man. Alcoholic. How we doing, Al? Yeah, I was never an alcoholic, but I was a heavy drinker at one time. And that fucked up my life. So I stopped. I like them apples. Yeah, that happens. Alright, let's see what we got here. Do. So, do I have any more stories? Anyway. Yeah, we'll see how this whole thing pans out. I don't know. I don't expect things to go well, but it is what it is, fam. Um, that was kind of my message in total here. Is it's like these liberal women are pretty much like the managerial class of the death of Western civilization. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but it's not it's an unfair thing to say in that like, well, what about the men that comply with it? You know, because it takes two to tango, and I think that's a fair statement. You know, and you know, like there it is, and there you go. To try to take it a step deeper, I think it has to do with the in-group behavior of whites that we are very in-group oriented, and that you know we tend to conform to the norms of our in-group, you know, and we don't question them, we go along with them. I don't know if it's just whites. I mean, like, you know, Asians do that too, probably like a lot more than we do. There's something to think about there, something to theorize about. Let's see. Violence says, but what Donald posted on Instagram was correct. Women of the UK are letting in the proverbial Trojan horse. You know, and I expressed my anger about it, and then I got punished for it. You know, I'm like, why are you doing this? And that's it's just a simple thing. You know, it's like, okay, look, I don't know the video, so I can't defend myself. But my statement is still the same thing, and that is this. You know, like, you know, blah blah blah. Like if white women enable Islam in the West, then they're going to end up slaves. And that's not a radical statement. It's not. It's not. You know. And like, oh, you're conflating things. Is that all you got? That's your argument? I'm conflating things. That's your argument, really? You know, it's not about argument. It's about conformity. You must bow down. You must take a knee. You know, you must not ever, ever, ever criticize people of color. They are the victims at all times. Whites are the bad guys at all times. And you must give and give and give and give and give. You know, I would never wish any kind of harm on this person or any one of our kind, you know. But there are those times when, I don't say but I'll just rephrase that, like, you know, there's times when you hear like, oh, a woman who supported immigrant housing got beheaded or some shit, you know, or and this kind of shit happens. Like this news is out there, and you're not celebrating it, but there's just this feeling of like the fucking irony, you know, the fucking it just burns, man. It just burns. It's such a burning evil shit irony, you know. Oh man. And those of us trying to help, you know, silence, demonetize your channel, you know. Like, fuck you. Oh my god. What can you do? Do 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 do. Everybody knows. So we're doing architecture today, gang. Is that Paddy Irishman? Oh my god, how wonderful. Poojeets. What do we got here? Hippocratic Oath says liberals are a dying brand in the U.S. I'm not worried about them. You know, frankly, yeah. I mean, they actually are going to die out. They literally are going to die out, you know. And I think their time has come, you know. Anyway, they are the managerial class along with Poojeets, yeah. Poojeets. Patty says, from what I heard of your story, it sounds like your friend doesn't realize you're quite a sensitive person who is saying these things out of love. I literally fucking wrote that in my reply. I said, what this is compassion for white women. It's compassion. And that's why I said, you're misreading me. This is like saying what you're saying about me is not what I'm saying. Like, it's wrong. And being somewhat polite-ish about it is just kind of part of my plan, because like I want them to fucking change. I want them to grow up. I want them to see the goddamn truth and to fucking speak the fucking truth and be like, you're right. These people are bad. They're dangerous. They're evil. We got to get them out. These people have to just fucking grow up for a change, and I'm not gonna, just not gonna pander anymore. I'm not gonna fucking do it. And so if I have an opportunity to at least maybe kind of sort of try to make that happen, then I will. And I know 10,000 friends would be like, dude, just don't. Just stop wasting your time. But what the hell? Anyway, I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me. So anyway, and hey, Don, Patty Irishman is here. All right. My lucky Irishman is here. Awesome sauce. Let's have ourselves a party. Break out the Jameson, boys. Oh, dude, I would fucking kill for a Jameson right now on ice. So good. Anyway, am I a bad person? Yeah, apparently yes. Moving on. And Flash Gordon says, it's crowded tonight. Yeah, it's been getting more crowded. Do you guys remember the conversation last night about the ethno state? Who remembers that? I know how to talk about astrology. I'm doing that next time you see. Oh, try doing that. Yes. Well, according to the stars, that like Jupiter is in Aquarius right now, and so like, if we let in the Muslims, then that's gonna be really bad for your third chakra. So like, I'm just saying these things because like, I'm looking out for my tribe. You know what I mean? How's that? That's my hippie impersonation. You like that? You like that? You like that? Oh fuck, dude. Oh my god, that's sad. That's sad. Anyway, moving on. Jupiter's in Gemini, dude. You're totally wrong about that. Here, let me get my tarot cards out. I'll fix the problem. Hold on. What's your sign, babe? Patty Irishman says Jameson is nice, but Bushmills is better. Hurts me to say it since I'm green Irish, not orange. Haha. That's quite interesting. That's actually a pretty wow thing to say. Wow. God bless you. Both Northern Irish and Irish, I guess, if I have to say it that way. Violence is life. Yes, troll her. Hypocritical. If Donald does good California accent. Yeah, I didn't even think about putting a little California twang in there. But I guess like all hippies kind of have a little bit. Surf's up, dude. Anyway, when I was younger, there in my high school, there was like a one year there was like a big Grateful Dead fad thing that happened, and all the long hairs, pot smoking, cigarette smoking kids in the school were all like, they just flocked into that scene. I had long hair and I was a musician, but I wasn't like a pot smoker or a whatever. I wasn't. I I don't hate the Grateful Dead, but I don't think they're as good as everybody thinks they are. They're like okay, to me, I guess. But yeah, that's kind of when I started getting acquainted with the whole like, what's the word, like what's the word, bipolar culture of that, like the hippie culture. Anyway, that's a thing in itself, isn't it? Ain't it? Let's see. Mace Non Fireball is good whiskey. Mace Non. It's probably French. And I don't like Fireball. I don't like cinnamon whiskey. I can't do that. That's not me. America makes like fantastic whiskeys. We really really do have world class whiskeys. Tennessee whiskey. There's quite a lot. And I know that there's important differences in where they're from and how they're made, and I'm not an expert in that stuff. I just know what tastes good. um, Go into my belly. So what else can I say? Now I want to get a fucking drink. No, I can't drink anymore. I damaged myself with that, and the reason why was because of my divorce. The divorce destroyed me and it fucked me up, and I had a pretty bad go of it, and so that's what it is. But I moved on, like all good heroes do. So we're good. Um, it's tricky though, like when you tell your friends like, "Oh, I don't drink anymore," and oh wow, suddenly you lost all your friends. You find out who your real friends are. I'll put it that way. Um, it's like, oh, you can't go party with me on weekends. What's your name again? Like they just forget about you. That's pretty harsh, but unfortunately, it's very true. Um, Anyway, I'm fine. I love life. I'm happy to be alive. I got a lot to live for, and I got other things that kind of keep me happy. So there you go. Oh, yeah, nice. Okay. Oh no, sorry for that. You are hurt and need a hug. I really need a hug right now. Group hug. Come on, bring it in, guys. Group hug. Okay, there you go. Moving on. That's what happened. A white nationalist group hug. That's the name of our first album, right there. White nationalist group hug. That'd be cool. Take the skinheads bowling. All right. Violence is life says. Oh, I read that. Nate Erific is here. That's what happened to me when I quit weed many years ago. The friends dried up. It's pretty fucked up. It really is. It's pretty bad. I mean, when it's like, yeah, you know how it goes, bro. It's just not cool. Like I will have a drink, maybe two drinks, when I go dancing, and that's like once a week. And I don't get drunk. I do remember drinking a bit with a friend. It's like this is like one of my big drinking buddies. And I had like a nice whiskey, and then I had another, and I was like fucked. I was like, oh no way! I totally lost my what do you call it? Your endurance or whatever the fuck it's called. I forget what that's called. But yeah, it's okay. I'll move on with my life. I'll be fine. Moving on with my life. But like somebody asked me to come to Ireland, and I was like, dude, I can't like drink, and it's like I think the whole fucking thing is just gonna be drinking. And he was kind of mad at me, to be honest with you. He was like, the fuck. I'm like, I'm not gonna talk about my personal like health history or whatever, but like, when you get to the end of the rope or whatever, then you realize, you know what, I think there's more important things in life than this. So I'm gonna move on. I smoked, but not like I wasn't a smoker. I would, I would bum smokes off of people at bars. I love to smoke a pipe. I love smoking a pipe. Just like there's all kinds of great pipe tobaccos, different flavors and stuff. Um, but I quit all that as well. So it was a little while that I was kind of into cigars for a bit, but like it never really, it was never a huge, I like the smaller cigarillos or whatever are okay, but kind of, I don't know, it just never clicked. There's some people that are like hardcore cigar guys, and I just don't have that. You know, of course there are good cigars, but overall though, it's just not a thing for me, I guess. Busted Knuckle, I think, is the name of the best cigar that I've ever had. It's called Busted Knuckle. Yeah. So what do we got? Lots of chat going down in the town. Tolerance, thank you. Yeah, I have no tolerance. It's kind of political, isn't it? Um, um, nice inking on that porch, thank you, sir. That's not an easy thing to do. It's funny how certain people fall off once you quit drinking. I know what you mean. Hippocratic oath, Jameson doesn't judge Bannon's hair. Oh, obesity and dandruff. He's a good friend, yeah. I love Steve. I just, I just want him to comb his hair once in a while. Is that too much to ask? Um, Violence says I lost a bunch of old friends long ago when I posted anti-vax stuff on Facebook. So I could get into some really heavy personal stuff on that topic because I had another conversation. I shouldn't air out my family stuff. That's a little too far. I think I can't do that. But to simplify it, I came to find out that like the people in my family that essentially abandoned me when my mom died. My understanding, or I was told recently, that was because of my political posts, not because of like my position on the vaccine. And in some ways, that's even more diabolical, because they what I gathered, and I don't know, I think I was wrong about this, but what I gathered is that my family thought that my mom died of COVID, which she didn't. Um, and therefore they blamed me for her death, which is fucking serious. Try living with that for the rest of your life. And I know that some of them do believe that. I know that for a fact. But where am I going with this? What I was told recently is that more or less the reason why they don't talk to me is because of my political posts. And I'm kind of like, like, okay, what am I gonna say? It's like, like be a cunt, I mean, fuck you, kind of that. There's a bit of that out there. Um, I don't know. I feel like it's pretty evil to punish somebody for that stuff. I just don't. I don't think that's cool. But I was wrong in assuming that people have critical thinking skills and that people can handle the truth. I was wrong. And I regret that. And honestly, if I could take a time machine back and just not post all that in front of my family, I would do that. I would maintain my family relations without having the hell that I'm in now. Um, yeah, of course, whatever it is, what it is. So just there's nothing more to say about it. Oh, life is cruel. And there you go. So that's what alcohol's for. Woo! I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. Calm down. Just joking. Calm down. So I need to back out of this a bit. You can see what I'm doing. Crazy man. Okay. Ah, life, ain't it grand? If I'm feeling specifically cynical or whatever, and somebody says, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm above ground," and like they kind of pause and like, "How was that? What?" You know, they're like, "Was that supposed to be a joke?" And I'm like, I don't know. Easy. Sorry, being weird. Moving on. Oh, talk about weird. Our favorite guy, Ian Carroll, has just discovered like UFOs and psychic occult weirdness, and he's starting to go down that rabbit hole. So that's kind of fun. I wish these fucking people would listen to me though. You know, I'll post something like, "Oh, cool, yeah, you're learning about that, you're into that or something," and like, "Well, here, go check out this guy or look up this thing," and like, I get nothing. I'm like, then like a month later, they're like, "Did you know that the CIA had a program for this thing called remote viewing? Wow, I'm the first one who's ever discovered it." And you just get like, it's just how it is, man. You just get used to it. You know? It's lonely at the top. That's all. Like, no, I'm kidding. Sorry. You guys, imagine how funny I am when I'm drunk. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Oh boy, that's legendary. Legendary. I will make you laugh and you will like it. We have ways of making you talk. So yeah, those were the good old days. You know? I think that's part of what the dancing is about. You know, it's like an alternative to drinking. This is sort of a crazy drug that you can enjoy. It kind of is. There's like a crazy rush you get from house music, and yeah, I know a lot of it is to do with like being around like super insanely hot chicks. And there's a new one in my life, but I'm not going to talk about it because I already know that it's fucking stupid. Like it's already a trap. No, I'm not. It's what is there's like a meme I just posted. It's something like you just finished one and the universe sends you one exactly like the last one. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, why? You know, it's that manifestation thing. Like, why do I have to manifest like fuckery? You know, why can't it be like good things? You know. Anyway, dude, I don't really drink. Oh, one or twice a year among young Irish. Half of us don't drink either. Oh, okay. Well, that's something to hear. Violence says, "I like a good pipe and cup of coffee at 4:20 a.m." Wow, dude, you're hardcore, man. Hardcore. That is a beautiful portrait of the woman and the baby. Oh, that's a very sweet thing to say. Thank you. It gets better too. There's like Militia Man. He's basically coming back to Fash Force, and he's like apologizing. He's saying like, I was wrong. I understand now, Judeo-Christian news is they killed my friends in MAGA Force. You guys were right about them, and I want to make amends and work with you guys, get essentially join the team, whatever. And then like the old man comes out and he's like, "Oh, you're back, okay? Hey, something, something, talkie talkie, yada yada, bam bam boom, zabadoo." And next thing you know, holy shit. So let's move on with the chat, and then I can keep working on some art. For cigars, you have to spend money. They can be good. I do agree to that. That's a good point. Irishman, the Madonna and child scene here, beautiful. Bon Dieu. That's terrible. I don't know what you were referring to because I'm late here. No freaking way. Conch is back? Bro. Where have you been? Conch. All right, I'm here. I traveled many miles to attend this. Wow, man, I better make this worth it. In that case, holy shit. Well, that's too bad you missed like this amazing story I told in the beginning of the show. Somebody want to fill him in on that? I don't know. I'm exhausted. Life says, how can they be so cruel? Yes, indeed. Oh, my family. I see what you guys are referring to. Yeah. Oh, dude, that's what I live with every day. Maybe some of them feel that way on political stuff, but I bet they're hiding behind that statement now that many of our worries have become popular and realized with the clot shots. So, with the Jew jab, all this shit's coming out. Like this person in my family that I talked to about it, I said, "Listen, do you know who RFK is?" And she was like, "No." I'm like, "You don't even know who fucking Robert F. Kennedy is? Like that he's like." You don't know that he's like the head of the health department. Like, are you living under a fucking rock? Like, that's. And I'm like, okay, because he's totally on board with everything I've ever said about the vax. And so this stuff's gonna go mainstream. Anyway, I don't really need to go down that rabbit hole. Conch says your family doesn't like you because of your politics, Mr. Kent. My goodness. So they don't even know. I mean, they don't really even know. Like, what I, like who I. Shit, they don't know, man. I mean, I'll just drop it there. But I love them. They just reject me. Anyway, Violence says, oh, yeah, I have the entire Ancient Aliens collection. Sweet. Oh, and my husband was a victim of MK Ultra. Violence's life is female. I didn't know that. Okay. Uh, MK Ultra, are you serious? Are you serious? That's fucking serious shit right there. That's very, very, very heavy stuff. What's going on? What is going on with your story? I would love to see a sit-down convo between you and Tim Murdoch on aliens from a based identitarian issue. He had a ton of interesting stuff to say on the subject too. Hey man, if we can hook it up, I'll gladly go there, man. I will gladly go there. Mr. Shadow's back. Excellent. Great to have you back. Hey, how's it going, brother? Kent, awesome work with the drawing. Keep up the great work. Appreciate your kindness, sir. I have a lot of new pages I can swing out and give you guys a look. I'll do that in a second. Naterific says, where can one purchase your work? Have you released? Yes. Okay, so listen closely. You're on YouTube right now watching this show. If you could open another browser window and just get to my channel, Donald Kent Art, and then on the home page of my YouTube, you will see a link to my website, kent-art.weebly.com. It's a live link. You'll see it's a different color. Click it, kabang, it'll open up my website. Right there, smack in front of you, is my book, Imperium Art. And I'm about to pull that out. This is my art book. And this you can get at Amazon. And I will even give you a sneak peek. Are you ready, Freddie? Are you ready, Freddie? So I would love it if you could pick up a copy. There's a little blurb about me in the background. That's an old self-portrait from when I was a young and handsome lad. And anyway, there you go. So in here you've got some pretty phenomenal fine art, conceptual art. There is a section with some poetry in it, which is very based. Sorry, let me get comfy here. A variety of fine art in here, more conceptual art. Some works that have never been published before, more of the conceptual art stuff. Some fantasy illustrations, some, like hot chicks and cool monsters. So that's the world of fantasy. I did some illustration for the Bizarchives here. You can have your own, you have that. I've got a bit of Militiaman in here, which is the comic that you guys see me working on now. This is what he looks like colored. Moving on, moving up, we got some other comics. This is like this story right here is actually literally a dream that I had, and I made a comic book about it. Like, it's not a whole book, it's just a couple pages. But anyway, then I've got this other kick-ass comic book shit that's just gonna rock your fucking world. You better get your fucking seatbelts on, because it's gonna kick your ass. See what my work looks like when it's colored and lettered? I mean, it's a whole other world. And this is from years ago. Like, my art has improved a lot since then. So get yourself a copy of Imperium Calling today and be the popular kid on your block. All right. What else have I got to say here? This is some incredible artwork, man. Thanks, bro. Older than me. Let's get back to reading. Violence says, I am serious. He was in the mid-1980s. They used him in the operation to overthrow General Noriega. We're looking like we're breaking. Is the CIA going to kick down your door because you're chatting about this? You might. I just tossing that out there. I'm just saying. Like, don't do anything stupid. He suffers to this day from what they did to him, but I wasn't alive yet then. He's 19 years old. I'm really sick of that. That makes me sick to my stomach. I'm really, like, there's just no, it's inhuman is all that I can say. I am going to switch gears a bit and show you guys some new pages. So give me 10 seconds here to roll it out a bit. There's quite a lot happening in the story right now. It's taken a huge turn. And just please give me a second to kind of try to get the pages in some order. You know about that. I'm sorry, I'm like 75 pages of comics here. It's getting a little wacky. Wacky tobacky. Hold on there, Jackie. All right. Almost ready. Almost there. So this business here, tell you what, that comes afterwards. Okay, here we go. So I'm gonna give you I'm gonna take you into the story. Are you ready? So at this point in the story, the Judeo-Christian News, they believe that, well, they thought that they killed Militiaman, but he came back during a big, there's like a big event. There was like a riot, and the new MAGA force was battling Fash Force, and then out of nowhere, Militiaman shows up and kicks some ass. And so Judeo-Christian News is like, holy fucking shit, he's alive. Like, oh my God, we thought he was dead. What the fuck, holy shit, what are we gonna do? So they're figuring shit. They're like, okay, we need to release the demon. We got to release the demon that's called Noahide. And of course, Noahide is Jewish Sharia. It's just an allegory. So anyway, the head of, or one of the guys from Judeo-Christian News who runs MAGA Force, he shows up at Militiaman's wife's, at their house. And he believes that she thinks he's still dead. So he's come to bring flowers to say, oh, my condolences that your husband died. Militiaman's name is Roger. So, I'm so sorry Roger's dead, and, I'm here for you if there's anything you need. I know you're pregnant and it's got some difficult times ahead. Now, she already knows that Roger is still alive, but she doesn't know that he knows Roger is still alive. And he's playing a fucking mind game with her, so something's going on here where he's trying to figure something out, like, where is Roger, and just testing her out, fucking around with her pretending that, oh, I'm here to offer my condolences, but using his sort of manipulative mind tricks or whatever. He she kind of pushes him out, like, no, I don't want you to come in. He's attracted to her as well, and so she's sort of lying, and he can tell that she's lying, and he's trying to figure out what's going on, and she's too sensitive and emotional. She's pregnant, and her husband's on the run, and they tried to kill him, and she doesn't know what's going on. And he's like, oh, don't worry, I just wanted to come by and check up on you. I hope things get better. Take care. Bye bye. So he's leaving, and she's looking out the door, like, kind of taking a sneak peek. He kind of looks back. He's approaching this van. Comes up to as he's walking by the van, there's this mysterious guy in the van, and he says, make it look like a suicide. Later, back at the CERN Hydro Collider portal, through which they're going to bring the Noahide demon through Black Vanguard. I wonder what that black cube could possibly represent. Maybe something to do with Saturn. You can see that their portal is actually underneath the Capitol building in Washington. So they're doing their little Freemason handshakes, and all the Jews. I mean, all of the bosses are coming down to the event, and you have Klaus Saros pouring blood. This is like children's blood with adrenochrome, for them all to have like a toast before they start start the machine. Oh, where the hell is the page? Oh shit, I can't find the page. Well, there is another page floating around here somewhere where the Goyim opens up the, what do you call it, the machine, and look who comes out. Noahide. So he's there, and then the shit starts hitting the fan. Oh, there it is. Well, anyway, Noahide like kills the Goyim, eats him up, and then ready to start their whole new world order, with this demon ruling the world. So that's what's going on. And then in the meantime, Militia Man is like, I got to reunite with Fash Force. We got to figure out what's going on. He meets up with them. Like I explained, like he kind of apologizes, and he kind of gets back to the team. Happy, friends again, la la la. All right, well, I'm going to go see my wife, my pregnant wife. I got to check in on her, see she's doing okay. I'm going to fly off, and I will connect. I'll see you guys at the next event where we're going to go fight some bad guys, Unfortunately, if you remember this scene, when he gets to his house, he's going to find his pregnant wife dead. And then that's when the story really starts. It gets really bad. And on that note, I think I'm going to wrap it, gang. I think I'm going to wrap it here. Let's see if there's any questions just to kind of tidy up. Yeah, maybe I should not tell about how they tried to have him dress as a Russian and go to the jungle and shoot American soldiers, which would have made the Cold War into World War III. This is so CIA, that's so Mossad, that kind of shit, That is a great comic book, incredible artwork, intriguing. CERN, Noahide demon, Shiva, Saturn, exactly. Wow, great looking monster. Art inspired by dreams. Noahide looks badass. So it's late, gang. I gotta work tomorrow. God bless you. Thank you so much for coming. You guys rock. That's it. That's all I gotta say. You rock. So I raise a glass of Jameson to all of you. Tink. Okay. Good night. God bless. Stay safe, and we love you. Go visit Donald Kent's Substack. Yes, I I'll get it out on my YouTube. I'll put it up on the homepage. All right, Clink. All right, good night. See you, Flash. Bye-bye.